Bless all the paths our feet walk to be free. Bless all the paths our feet walk to be free. Yeah, but
When I was in the chaplaincy program at Unity Village, and my chaplaincy mentors were all from other religions. Although they loved a lot of what Unity said, they used to just say, that's Disneyland over there. And we have used all these ideas and thoughts to make a better world. And I believe that we have also gotten off track in what making a better world really means. I believe in some way we created a monster and we let loose. And because happiness is so important to us, it spread like wildfire. And so I looked back last night, not that I couldn't remember, but I looked back last night at the 5 basic unity principles. And the 5 basic unity principles are, we're divine, there's only God, there's nothing else. We create our experiences through our thinking. Our experiences. We don't create cars and houses, we create our experiences through our thinking. Through prayer and meditation, we have a greater experience of God, and that knowing all these things isn't enough. We have to live them or they don't do us any good. I don't hear anywhere in there about getting rich, about getting famous, about, we'll just pray that away. I don't hear any of this in here. I hear a relationship between you and God. And there is where the strength and the magic comes. Not in projecting that onto the outer world in some way. Something for nothing. I know it's a disputable idea. And I know that you guys, some of you are sitting here right now, disputing the heck out of it with me. Because prayer is something. And thinking is something. But what are we expecting from it is the issue. What are we expecting it will do for us? Because praying sometimes is all we can do. But most of the time it isn't. And thinking sometimes is all we can do. But most of the time it isn't. And telling the truth sometimes is all we can do. But most of the time it isn't. And when we look into our world, I don't know, but I'm hard-pressed to see a better one than I saw 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 30 years ago. I can't see how our thinking and praying, combined with our pursuit of happiness, have really sort of catapulted us into some paradise. I don't think so. I don't see it. Maybe you do see it. I do believe that it works in here. In here, where it was intended to do the work. Remember, we get to choose how we go from A to C. And how we get from comfort to discomfort. And what the balance of that is. I think we've gotten out of balance with that. Because do those spiritual principles work? Of course they do. Have we sort of let them win the fight? Yes. I think a lot of times we have. Why? Because it makes us happier to do it that way. We give up courage and creativity and acts of love and uniting and accomplishment and being heroes and being part of an amazing human journey when we try to think it different. When we try to have it be something for nothing. We give up what we actually came here to do. Help each other. Lift each other up. Be in an incredible experience of love and healing. We give that up when we remove ourselves and think this is really the only part we have to play. So I want you to look back at the masters and the deities and Jesus and whoever you follow. They walked in the streets. They touched people. They healed them. They stood up for what was right. They fought in wars. They fed people. And more than in their praying and thinking, I think they were supposed to be an example to us. They taught us to pray and think in a way to have a closer relationship with the divine.
Yes.
not to make magic happen out here. Because we can't do it that way. We made up all the rest, and we have become hostage to our theology of positive thinking. There just isn't something for nothing. The Bible says that you reap what you sow. Sow requires working in the ground, what you sow. It's not just your thoughts, it's what you do. And guess what? You don't get to reap it before you do it. We don't get peace on this planet before we do it, before we make it happen. We don't change anything till we do it, till we actually do it. Most of the wars in this world have been waged on the idea that we can reap before we sow. When one group of people has decided that they can take for nothing what another group of people has. But the truth is, what we know is, it isn't for nothing, is it? It hurts us, it hurts them. And what it really does, you know, if gas ran out, when gas runs out, because gas is running out, we will act like insane people before it does. If we believed right this minute that only the gas that was on the soil of this country was ours, and we had no other choice, we would be figuring out ways to live without it. That's what's lost when we think we can get something for nothing. Creativity is lost. Human compassion is lost. All kinds of things get lost. Our connection, you know, they're saying that more and more kids are having all these mental issues and emotional issues. Like 40% of the children in school have mental and emotional issues. Why? Because they're no longer connected to what sustains their life. And somewhere in us, we can't do that. We can't continue to be whole and healthy and loving and compassionate people when we disconnect what sustains life. So when they're just in a bunch of concrete and, you know, going from one concrete to the next concrete, they've lost touch with the reality of their being and who they are. So unfortunately, even though we say we could sit here today and say we don't believe in something for nothing, we have been cultured and molded unconsciously in a way that in some way we believe we're entitled to something. I mean, we only started having teenagers kill other teenagers for their shoes not long ago. Why? Because they're entitled to have them. That's the thought. That's the thinking. We weren't killing each other off 100 years ago over our shoes. Why? Because we were closer to the land that made them, closer to the earth and the idea of what really happens. So, evolutionary biologists and astrophysicists tell us that the need for all living and non-living systems to establish an in and out energy exchange balance is the most fundamental physical law of the universe over 13.7 billion years. The most fundamental law. There is not any something for nothing. Ignoring this fundamental law of life and cultural systems causes, and we've seen it happen, personal and social hostilities, resentments, conflicts, and wars. The core pattern of the universe is this energy exchange that is equal for what you get and what you give. It's the way the world works. Why we're out of balance, why people are crazy, why we're going insane, why it all looks nuts. Because that balance has been so skewed by some thinking that we have. And it says that, so there's these four things that create equilibrium, but they're all based on an energy exchange. One of them is expanding diversity and novelty, expanding complexity, expanding adaptation, integration, and cooperation. And expanding energy exchange and or transfers to create more dynamic energy equilibrium. All of those are necessary for success, no matter what it is we're doing. Whether it's our planet, whether it's our solar system, whether it's us as individuals, whether it's communities, whether it's our families. This equal energy exchange to sustain and grow anything or continue its dynamics has to be in place. We can't escape it in our own lives or the life of our planet. Nothing is maintained without appropriate energy exchange. These laws and this exchange have spiritual implications. Of course they do. Because spiritual laws of the universe never deny or work in contrary to the fundamental nature of the physical laws of the universe. Whether we like it or not, we can't do this mind game thing and think that that's an energy exchange that's going to work. It's an internal. The mind game is internal. The mind game isn't about out there. It's about in here. Because I'll tell you what, we do it really well. We're powerful enough to do some really big stuff. Why? Because we have the knowledge, the courage, we have the stamina, we have the internal energy, we have lots of things. That is what the journey is about. What do we do in here that allows us to go out there and meet what's happening? Spiritual principles are to strengthen us, to guide us, to empower us to be the best human beings that we can be, and to live the greatest lives that we can live. The belief in something for nothing is the dark side of lazy, greedy, ambitious, and patient, all on the journey to happiness. In the words of Thomas Jefferson, he said, the worst day of a person's life is when they sit down and begin thinking about how they can get something for nothing.
From Catholic saints to Hindu names, Buddhist chants and Zen refrains, bless all the past.